Hello and welcome to Wrestle Talk with the Rabbit Beaver. And joining me today is none other than the second generation sensation, the homegrown All-American Honky Tonkin stud of professional wrestling, and the man who's going to make the lover boy, Lex Lee, pay for his hatred of Santa Claus on February 15th. This is the one, the only, the future legend and future world heavyweight champion, Ty Rose. Ty, welcome to Wrestle Talk with the Rabbit Beaver. How are you doing tonight?
Man, what an introduction. How are you doing, man? I'm doing well. I love it, man. I appreciate all the kind words you just said. But yeah, good to be here and good to be talking some pro wrestling. And yeah, looking forward to this interview, man.
Excellent. So I know that you originally had a match scheduled in January with Lex Lee, and due to the weather and due to things that have happened, that has been pushed back. And I know that you've been itching to get your hands on Lex, the lover boy Lex Lee, and take us back to where it all began, where the disrespect happened, and how it's been snowballing over for a few months now.
You know, this all started about 40 years ago when a guy named Paul Lee tagged with a guy who happens to be my father named Pat Rose. They were the new Fabulous Fargos. And they were both managed by none other than Don Fargo. Years later, I grew up going to Paul's shows, and I've seen Lex when he was in the Young Lions, the Lion Kings, you know, whatever else, and now he's turned into this lover boy, right? And now the universe has come full circle. I'm in the professional wrestling business, and I've trained, and here I am working matches and stuff. Paul messaged us and was like, "Hey, it's Christmas time. We need a Santa Claus. I fit the bill. Lovable, handsome, jolly, right? I love Christmas. My favorite time of the year. So what do? I put on the get up, and I tried to give the good people of Lafayette a good Christmas to remember, and that is to see the big man wrestle, Santa Claus. But Lex being Lex, you know, I don't know if you were there or if anybody watching was there, but I was on top of him. His back was on the mat for the 3 count. So I won. Santa Claus or not, it was me under that beard. So he decided to kind of take it upon himself to attack me backstage with my back turned towards him.
I think we have footage of that. Would you like to see it to show the fans what's going on?
I mean, you know.
Let's do it. So this is exactly what happened. He's back there changing and trying to get out of the Santa Claus suit after that nice big match. And there's Mr. Cassidy. He comes on in, and then out of nowhere comes the lover boy Lex Lee with jealousy and rage. Look at this. I mean, my God, guys, if I've ever seen somebody be jealous that somebody new is getting over, I would have bet it would have been the lover boy Lex Lee. But here we are. And Ty, I have to ask you upfront and honest right here in front of everybody. Do you think that it's the fuel to the fire for over 40 years, like you were saying earlier, the hatred that came from Paulie, from your dad, from all the Memphis wrestling, from everything that you guys done in the NWA, moving forward? Do you think it's just the jealousy factor there?
Well, I don't know what you mean by you guys, because I haven't even wrestled 10 matches in my entire life. This is Loverboy Lex Lee. Look at the Lee name in professional wrestling. It speaks for itself. But also, don't be fooled. Look at the Rose last name in professional wrestling. And I am on my way to create a legacy for myself. So I don't know where this comes from, besides pure hatred for Christmas and pure hatred and disrespect for the Roses. And I thought we were all friends. You know, I have a great deal of respect for Paul. I have a great deal of respect for Lex. I had. You know, so I don't know where this comes from, but I haven't had 10 matches yet, you know? So I don't know. You have to talk to him about it.
Well, the big thing is
I'll talk to him about it February 15th, rest assured.
The big thing is you already have a win over him. Like you said, whether you were Santa Claus or not, you got him 1, 2, 3 in the center of the ring. And I think it's eating him alive. I think it's burning him up, because here you are, the second generation stud, as we called you earlier, the All-American stud. And he can't stand that you're coming in, stealing his fire and his flame. And I really believe that with all my heart, Ty. And to be perfectly honest with you, I can see this thing blowing up February 15th, bigger and better than anything that's happened in professional wrestling prior.
Well, regardless, only thing I know is I'm coming with a chip on my shoulder, you know? And I don't know, man. I don't have any words for it besides it's disgusting. It's sad. It's a disgrace to what the Lees have built up, to what the Roses have built up. But it all comes to head. It all comes to fruition February 15th at the Lafayette Recreation Center, you know? I did a prior interview talking about this, and I had a couple days until the match. Now I had to wait a little while longer, and man, my emotions have kind of went from rage to kind of just sit back, and it'll all come to light. You know, it'll all prove itself, and that's exactly what I'm going to do. I'm going to come and I'm going to prove myself. That's exactly what I'm going to do, and I'm going to make him pay. You know, Lafayette. Some people might not have the chance to enjoy Christmas. I was trying to bring that. So for him to destroy that and traumatize probably a few children, yeah.
Are you worried about his dad at all? Ty, are you worried about his dad at all getting involved? I know that your dad may be in your corner or will be in your corner. Let's say it like that. The legend Pat Rose will be in your corner. But are you worried about the nature boy himself, Paul Lee, getting involved in this match and swinging it in the way of his son, Loverboy Lex Lee?
You know, I haven't really thought of it because, like you said, I have a legend, my father, Pat Rose, in my corner, and he's going to be watching the curtain while I'm in the ring beating up Lex Lee. Simple as that.
And I love this. I love this because he has called you everything under the sun, including the name Diabetes as a take on diabetes. And Ty, you know this just like I do. It doesn't matter what size you are. It doesn't matter where you're at. If you can wrestle, you can wrestle. And if you got the it factor, you got the it factor, baby. And let me tell you something, Ty, you got the it factor. So if they're going to call you whatever you want, are you going to let it fuel you to the point of rage?
Well, let me tell you something, man. Those are all empty words. You know, the people, the comments, the remarks, the videos, the jokes, they can't win the match for them. Bottom line, when the bell rings, you're going to have to show up. And that's why I've been silent. That's why I haven't really gone to anything and said crude remarks or disrespectful remarks, because I'm going to show him just exactly what Ty Rose is all about, with class and integrity. And when I step in the ring, I got two things on my mind. One, to prove myself, and two, to get the payback for the sweet and loving people of Lafayette. So that's why you ain't heard much from me.
I would say it's the people all over Georgia, not just Lafayette, sir, because you have fans all over Georgia that are watching you and that they're counting on you for this match, especially since Lex has decided to let's say insult them as well and their intelligence as well. So you have to really come together here and think about this long and logically and hard and see that you are going to be in the ring with one of professional wrestling's greatest wrestlers currently in the Southeast. And you're going to be, you got the win over him already, but you're going to be in that ring with him 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 minutes, however long the match goes. Are you prepared to go the distance with him?
You know, that's a question I wake up and I ask myself every day. Ty, are you prepared to go the distance with Lex Lee? And, you know, like I said, I may not be the best professional wrestler yet. I haven't even wrestled 10 matches. But I come from a little town called Trenton, Georgia, the state of Dade. And we know how to tussle a little bit. Hell, I'm a Rose. So I'm not too worried about it. It's going to be a learning experience. And it's also going to be a learning experience for him not to run his mouth and stick his nose in business that doesn't regard him. As far as I'm concerned, it don't really matter how long you've been wrestling. Don't matter how long we wrestle. Bottom line is, whoever comes out on top, he's going to feel the wrath and the pain inflicted on him by none other than Ty Rose.
Would it be fair to say that he's going to know what the Honky Tonkin tour of Ty Rose feels like?
Hey, man, the first stop of the Honky Tonkin tour, hey, it's revamped. Long time ago, a guy named Pat Rose came to the ring with a Honky Tonkin tour jacket. But we got another tour coming up, the Honky Tonkin tour, but with Ty Rose. And the first stop of the tour is in Lafayette. And we got to take care of a little business, like I said, for the sweet and loving people of Lafayette who try to enjoy a good Christmas. You know, the snow saved his butt. And like you said earlier, no pun intended, this is all snowballed into something I don't think can handle. So we'll find out come February the 15th.
And as you've mentioned before, it's going to be at February 15th at the Lafayette Recreation Center. That's 638 South Main Street in Lafayette, Georgia. You can get your tickets at awfwow.com right now. Pre-order those tickets. Go out and check out Ty Rose as he whoops up on Loverboy Lex Lee the 15th of February. Now, Ty, let's talk about your personal life for a minute. We know that you personally had been in music prior to this, and you had used those skills that you have, not only your voice, but also the talent that you had to bring you to where you're at currently. What's it like doing the transition from music to professional wrestling?
There is no transition. It's just simply by day, I play a little guitar, and by night, I like to lace up my boots and whoop up on no good, egg-sucking, coattail-riding daddy's boys like Lex Lee. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it. You know, Valentine's Day, I got a show. And I play music under a different name, but that we'll do an interview for music whenever that comes. But I got a show. And the next day, the day after, I get to go to bed, get to wake up. It's going to be a good day because that's the day that I come to collect the debt that Lex Lee owes me. And like I said, the people of Lafayette. February the 15th at AWF Saturday Night Slam. Someone's going to pay. And I don't
Absolutely. And right here it is on your screen, guys. Once again, you can get your tickets at www.awfwow.com. You want to order them right now, as that way you can ensure that you're going to be there to see Ty Rose, the Honky Tonkin Kid himself, beat up on Loverboy Lex Lee. And boy, what a match that's going to be. The card is stacked, as we've mentioned earlier before, but I'm going to tell you right now, that's going to be the match of the night. I don't care what anybody says. Somebody who hates Christmas, somebody who hates men that have a passion for professional wrestling, that have the desire to win in professional wrestling, they don't deserve to be here. And I think, sir, you have proven that you deserve to be here. Not only that, but you were raised by a legend. You were raised by the legendary Pat Rose from the NWA, former champion, major champion in the NWA. And I'm sure that he's got some tricks that he's taught you up his sleeves during the day. Is that correct?
Hey, there's a few tricks that he's taught me. You know, people got to realize, I'm glad you said this. You know, I don't think I'm an idiot. You know, I've been around this stuff my whole life. When I was a baby, when I was a little boy, I remember running around in the locker rooms. You know, there's a picture in my dad's book, From the Ring to the Real, the Pat Rose story, of me and a very young Kerry Morton, the son of Ricky Morton, lock it up. So I've been around this stuff for a minute. So, yeah, you're right. Pat Rose, my father, has taught me a few tricks. And in turn, those tricks that he's teaching me, a man named Tojo Yamamoto taught him. So, Lex, you not only have the tricks of the trade from the Roses, you have the tricks of the trades from Tojo. And I don't know if you've ever seen Tojo wrestle or not, but he's a very, very sneaky man. Keep that in mind, Lex. Keep that in mind. Watch the salt.
Very wise words, Ty. I would give that to you. Tojo Yamamoto was one of the very best technicians inside the ring. He knew exactly what he was doing at all times, and he had the psychology to make you believe that you were in control at any given time, and he would slip it away from you at the blink of an eye. And I believe that that's the exact thing that you were taught as well. Moving forward into this match, and from this match, whatever happens after this match, do you think that there will be reconciliation between you and Loverboy Lex Lee?
Hey, like I said earlier, you know, Paul Lee and my father, Pat Rose's, I guess, relationship within professional wrestling has gone on for 40 years. So who's to say this is our very first, or really our second encounter in the professional wrestling ring? So who knows, second generations on both ends. You never know what's liable to happen. And let me show you, for a few of those who are unfamiliar with Mr. Tojo and my father, Pat Rose, and anybody who really doesn't know these guys, here is a lovely picture of Pat Rose learning the tricks of the trade from Mr. Tojo. You see this right here? Pat Rose, Tojo. You understand? So, just to give you a little insight on who's trained me, who's teaching me what, and what tricks I've been given to put up my sleeve. So, you never know.
The question becomes, what's next for Ty Rose after this match?
What's next for Ty Rose? What's next? What I think is next is just to continue getting better, focusing on my body, my work, and just kind of gaining opportunities wherever I can. And that's my goal. My goal is to take the Rose name where it belongs, and that is to the very top of professional wrestling. And the top of professional wrestling is maybe a few different places according to who you are. And I know where the top for me is. And hopefully before this is all said and done, I'm 19 years old. I'm just starting. But hopefully when this is all said and done, I have taken the Rose name to its rightful place. And that is to the very top of the sport of professional wrestling.
Mr. Rose, if there's any promotion that you would love to work for in the future, anybody out there, who would it be?
Man, we already did this, and I hope to be back, and I think we will. But Georgia Championship Wrestling, what a historic promotion. I mean, it's just you've had over, like I said, over 50, 60 years of a solid lineage. And a couple weeks ago, I got to add my name to that history, and I'd love to do that again. Of course, my father, Nick Goulas, sent my father and a guy named Bobby Eaton down to Georgia Championship Wrestling in 1980s, or about 81, I believe. So there's a lot of history there. My father worked everybody in Georgia Championship Wrestling, and so it was good to kind of walk out and look up and see that, logo that we all love, and that everybody saw at 605, right? But no, another promotion that I'd love to work for is the National Wrestling Alliance, whether that be for the actual, on TV for the NWA or one of their territories, NWA, JCP. Of course, I know you interviewed KC Kazana, which is the son of Joe Kazana. Nothing but love and respect to the country gentleman and Joe Kazana, man, 100 years of promoting within the East Tennessee area, John Kazana, and then going down to Joe, and then his boys AJ and KC in wrestling. Man, it's just so much history there. And then we were at their show when they kind of announced a partnership between JCP and NWA, and so, man, what the that's the cherry on top right there, man. All the history with the Kazanas and now adding the NWA name to it, so that's definitely a goal of mine right there.
Well, that's not too far-fetched, to be honest with you, especially with your ties with the Kazanas. We know that you guys pretty much grew up together, running the different promotions. And so I could actually see that actually happening pretty quick once you get your feet wet and once you get everything worked out that you need to get worked out. And I wish you well on that one for sure. And with Georgia Championship Wrestling, I know that you've already worked there, but that is a great place to be. The history, the legacy of Georgia Championship Wrestling, everything that's come with them. I mean, it's a heritage. Let's call it what it is. It's heritage and it's bloodline. So I believe that you deserve to be there as well, sir. And I believe that you deserve to be in the National Wrestling Alliance. And I hope that you get there one day. I hope that you're the world heavyweight champion of both of them one day, sir. And I hope to God that you beat Lex Lee on the 15th. Now,
I think one of those are going to come true, and I think we'll see which one comes true the 15th come February. 15th.
Absolutely.
So we'll see, man. I think it's just one day at a time, and right now my challenge is to beat Lex Lee and to kind of give him that whooping that I believe Paul should have given when he was a little boy. But some people skip out on whoopings and they turn into be people like Lex Lee. So you got people like me to come in and kind of set them on the straight and narrow, make them walk the line a little bit. You know what I mean?
Yes, sir. Now let's backtrack a little bit. Now, when you broke into the business, you took a match with none other than Casey Cage. I believe that was one of your first matches that you did. Would you like to talk about it a little bit?
I would, man. I was a nervous wreck. I was, I really didn't know what I was getting into. You know, like you mentioned earlier, I play music, so being in front of people is not really foreign to me. But being in front of people in an athletic setting when it's not like on a team dynamic was very nerve wracking, man. I didn't really know what I was getting myself into, but actually, right there above me is a picture of my very first lockup, man. And if I posted it on my wrestling page, but if you see my father's looking at me, and that right there is a very special moment. But man, yeah, that Casey Cage, me and him, I love him to death, man. He's a hell of a wrestler, hell of a guy, and really glad to have him in my corner. But it was an honor to be able to have him as my first match, man. Me and Dad kind of talked about it and kind of, oh, this would be cool. But man, I think it played out perfectly, and I'm very grateful for the folks over there at C1W. McDonald, Tennessee, for giving me somewhere to kind of get some ring time, man, with all kinds of different people. And so, yeah, that was really special. We love KC and C1W.
Casey Cage is one of those guys that he will always have your back if you need him. He'll always be there for you no matter what. But if you cross him, that's it. Like, he's done with you. And so my words to you are just don't get on his bad side and make sure that you use him every chance that you get. You need, I mean, of course, your dad's there for guidance, but if you need any other guidance inside the business, he's the man to go to.
Absolutely. He made a post the other day on Facebook where he was talking about the late Ted Allen and how much Ted meant to him and how much of a mentor he was and on and off the road, in and out of the ring. And I made a comment, and this is for real. This is, this is no joke. I told him, I said, man, what Ted was to you, you are to me. And that is a mentor. And man, I'm so grateful to be getting the knowledge and the pointers and the do's and don'ts that he gives to me that, like I said, in turn, Ted passed down to him, man. So that just goes to show what kind of legacy Ted has and what kind of legacy Casey has, and hopefully one day the kind of legacy that I'll leave.
So let's move forward. What was your second match like?
It was a little bit better. I kind of knew what I was getting into. Man, it just it's kind of one of those things, man. Just like with music, you just got to do it and to get better. And I've always stuck by that. And you just got to do it, man. How did Pat Rose become Pat Rose? He did it. He went out and did it. And I feel like our generation is robbed of being able to work every single day. But you just got to do it, man. Just like in music, I figured out slowly over time. I've been playing music since I was 14, and I'm 19 now. You do the math. But I figured out slowly what was cool, what wasn't, what worked, what didn't, what to say, what not to say, and that's kind of where I'm at with this. And I feel like I'll always kind of, in some extent, be there. Kind of, you just learn every time the bell rings, man. You learn something new, and hopefully, what I've learned so far is good enough to beat you know who. So. Yeah, second match was a little bit better. It's a little bit more fun. But yeah, the nerves have kind of gone down each time. So right now, I feel like we're pretty all right. It's gonna be good.
Well, the legendary Harley Race. I got to travel with him just a little bit before he moved on. And one of the things he said, son, you're joining the circus. And he said, there's always going to be somebody out there who's going to laugh at you and point at you and point out your mistakes and make sure that you're doing wrong. And he said, if you don't have the butterflies, if you don't get those in your stomach, there's something wrong with you. So, moving forward to that second match, I know you still had a little bit of the butterflies, you still had a little bit of the jitters, but you calmed down quite a bit going into it.
Well, listen. And here, this is the way I've always thought about it. And with music, and this is how I think about it with wrestling. I always get butterflies. If you're ever back in the dressing rooms with me, I chew gum, I drink about 5,000 bottles of water, and I tell myself, I literally say, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. About 5,000 times is a nervous tick. I get butterflies to turn it on. You gotta turn it on, but I don't get nervous. I never got nervous going on stage. I don't get nervous stepping in the ring because I think, this is just me, everybody has their own opinions. I think nervousness is based out of fear, and I'm not scared of wrestling. And I'm not scared of playing music. I'm not scared of being in front of people. I just kind of want to go out there and hit them in the mouth. You know what I mean? That's kind of I just get pumped up. You know what I mean? The closest way I can put it for you people is kind of being, about to go out, or your high school buddy is going to go play a football game. You know what I mean? On the high school football team, you just want to go hit him in the mouth. That's kind of how I feel. I don't ever get scared or nervous. I just get a little butterflies, I chew a little gum, and tell myself it's going to be great. That's pretty much it, man.
I still get nervous. I still do. And the first show that I ever announced for, man, I was so tore up that after the show I threw up. I threw up a couple times. And it's just everybody deals with it differently. You know, everybody has problems and they deal with it differently because you just deal with it. So I'm grateful that you're where you're at. I'm grateful that you're doing what you're doing. And like I said, I hope on the 15th of February, you and Lex Lee get to lock up and you all are going to be in that ring together and you're going to be doing some great stuff. Now, I know your dad has a book and you mentioned it earlier. Do you have that book with you? And is he still selling it? Is it still online? Where can you get it?
I do, man. You know what? It's crazy. They all sold out. Every single one of them sold out. We made a few copies, pretty good bit, but they all sold out, every single one of them. So that's one thing that's really cool, man. My father, like I said, with me, he's getting back into professional wrestling. And of course, everybody is welcoming him with open arms. And luckily that I'm his son, I get the same treatment as well. But man, one thing, as a son, it was so cool to see that something that I knew all along, that people still cared. And it's cool to see kind of that confidence come back. You know what I mean? When people, we're selling books left and right, man. I'm looking here. There's the picture of that jacket. Honky Tonkin Chores, picture of him and Tom Pritchard, him and Billy Joe Travis with Jackie Fargo, with my uncle Randy Rose and Bill Ash pinning Coco Beware, us and Flair. I mean, there's all kinds of pictures here, man. And I'm not going to tell you all of them because you got to go buy the dang thing for you to read it and see all the pictures. But he left a little message in here for me that's for me. But this is my copy, mine, that nobody else is going to have. So, man, from the ring to the real, we're so proud of this thing. It took a lot of hard work from a lot of great people. But from the ring to the real, the Pat Rose story. And there's a lot of cool things a lot of people didn't know. So.
Do you know when they're going to be doing the second printing? That way you guys can sell it.
Man, soon. We talked to the people a couple days ago. It's kind of a weird process. I don't know if you could tell by looking at it or not, but I'm not an author, however you say it, and neither is my dad, right? So we got to kind of go through a little process, and that process is being what's in process, I guess. But man, if any of you folks are interested in talking to my dad, meeting my father, putting in pre-orders this Saturday, we're going to be in, I think, Pulaski. Is that it? Tennessee? Pulaski, Tennessee, with my uncle Randy Rose and Pat Rose, my father, the Rose cousins, but also one of my favorite wrestlers, a part of one of the greatest tag teams in professional wrestling, one of the greatest tag team wrestlers in the history. We're going to be with Mr. Dennis Condrey. And Dennis and Randy Rose are the original Midnight Express. So not only do you get to meet the original Midnight Express, you get to meet the Rose cousins, the former Southeastern tag team champions. And that right there is a pretty big deal. So that's this week. And you best bet, when I see Dennis and I see Randy, Dennis, the real lover boy, Dennis, you tell me, sir, do you have any tricks that I can use to whoop up on this guy? You're the real lover boy, so give me the tricks to beat this lover boy.
The Temu lover boy.
You said
it. I did say it. So you said you're going to be in Pulaski, Tennessee. Where is that going to be at in Pulaski?
Hey, go to Ty-Rose Wrestling on Facebook and Instagram. That's TYROSE, Rose like the flower wrestling on Instagram and Facebook. And I have the poster set up right there. I'm not a big location guy when it comes to buildings. I just know the city we're going to be in. Yeah, there you go. Hey, you got it right there. Pulaski, Tennessee.
That's going to be at 110 South 1st Street in Pulaski, Tennessee. It's going to be February 8th, 2025 from 12 to 3 p.m. You can meet the special guest Pat Rose, Ty Rose, the ravishing Randy Rhodes, and Loverboy Dennis Condrey. That's where you guys want to be this Saturday, February 8th, 2025, Ty. Is that correct?
That's correct, man. That's correct. I don't know. I know if you guys are wrestling fans, I know for a fact you're going to want to shake the hands of Pat Rose. You're going to want to shake the hands of Ravishing Randy Rhodes. You're going to want to shake the hands of Loverboy Dennis Conjure. But for me, I know what I'm going to be doing. And that is to make sure all three of these guys are comfortable. They're taken care of. If they need waters, I'll go get it. So if you want to meet me, hey, I'd be honored to meet each and every single one of you guys. But my job is going to make sure is to make sure those guys are comfortable. And if they need a water or anything at all, hey, you tell Ty Rose. So there you go.
All right, and that's going to be this Saturday, February 8th, guys, in Pulaski, Tennessee. You guys don't want to miss that at all whatsoever. Look at that.
There's going to be a few of these pictures available for autographs if you want them. They're great Christmas gifts, great Valentine's Day gifts. Man, if you really want to make your girl happy, get them a picture of the Rose Cousins. That's how you do it.
Yes, sir. All right, Ty, we're just about out of time here, but before we go, I'm going to give you the opportunity to say anything that you want to say to anybody watching out there.
Hey, I just want to thank, my father, Pat Rose, Casey Cage, for training me for training me, like I said, to and giving me the pointers on how to do the thing, man. I want to thank everybody else. I want to thank my family, my girlfriend for being really supportive and supporting my crazy dreams of being a singer that likes to whoop up on people in a wrestling ring. You know what I mean? So, man, and I want to thank God for giving me a lot of opportunities, a lot of blessings in and outside of music and wrestling. And man, that's pretty much it, man. Just want to thank all that. And every chance I get, man, you got to thank the big man upstairs, because without him, none of this would be possible.
That's absolutely correct.
Even the man upstairs is going to be tuned in February 15th, watching Ty Rose whoop up on Loverboy Lex Lee.
That's correct. And you can see it right here, February 15th, 2025, at the Lafayette Recreation Center in Lafayette, Georgia. That's 638 South Main Street, Lafayette, Georgia. And you can get your tickets right now. www.awfwow.com is where you want to go. And you can check out this man right here, the stud of professional wrestling. Go on his Honky Tonkin tour and whoop up on the Loverboy Lex Lee, February 15th. And let me tell you, he's been waiting over a month to get his hands on him. So it's going to be sweet, sweet revenge for Ty Rose as he whips up on Loverboy Lex Lee. Now, I've got to ask you, what is your booking information for anybody that's out there that would love to book you, sir?
Well, booking information, man. Just email me at tyrosewrestling at gmail.com. That's TYROSE wrestling. No fancy dots or numbers. Simple and quick and easy, man. Ty Rose Wrestling. Everybody knows how to spell Ty. Everybody knows how to spell Rose. And if you're a promoter, you should know how to spell wrestling. So tyrosewrestling at gmail.com. Shoot me an email. There's the man himself, Mr. Pat Rose.
The legendary Pat Rose is here. How are you doing, sir?
Hey, I'm good. It's going well.
I'm glad to hear that for you. Pat, do you have any words of wisdom or anything you would like to say to anybody watching before we go?
Come here. Give him some words of wisdom.
This is what I tell Camden all the time.
Ty.
If you're in a match, win if you must. Oh, excuse me, lose if you must. What is it?
Win if you can, lose if you must,
But always cheat.
that's right.
I love it.
Mr. Jim Cornette told me that when I was a little 8-year-old little boy. At guess whose show? Paul Lee's show.
Wow.
So, AWF, Saturday Night Slam. I'm going to use that.
Absolutely.
Watch out for this, Lex. It's coming to you, buddy.
We're putting it all on the line here, right now. I love it, guys. Ty Rose,
Hey.
Pat Rose, thank you, guys. Go ahead.
Hey, and that representation right there just cost us about $2.50 in today's economy. So, Lex, you better be, hey, we're being serious, all right? Watch the salt, all right?
Absolutely. Thank you guys for being here. Before I let you go, before we get off tonight, would you stay on for just a few minutes? We'll talk about booking you again for the show after it's over with. But thank you guys so much for being here. And remember, guys, if you want to catch all this good action, you want to catch the radio show, it's going to be on Buzzsprout later tonight. It's going to be on YouTube, Spotify, iHeartRadio, all those good places for you. And remember, you all heard it here first on Wrestle Talk with the Rabid Beaver. Thank you, Pat Rose. Thank you, Ty Rose, for being here. And I hope to see you guys soon. Thank you so much. Bye-bye, guys.